Now, yesterday, we heard from Michael Broadhurst, a racing instructor who's well on his way to making his dream of being a Formula One driver come true. He's been racing ever since he was 8 years old, and since then, he's had numerous podium finishes, and at the moment, is taking part in the British GT Championships. If you don't know, GT cars stands for Grand Touring. Basically, they're the sports cars. They're the nice ones. They're the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Aston Martins. I spoke with Michael earlier on in the week, and here in the second and final part of the interview, I wanted to find out more about the process of racing. For example, could he actually relax at any point while spending 2 hours on the track in a GT race?
You can't, but, I mean, you kind of settle into a pace and you get kind of a rhythm going. I mean, obviously, at the start of the race, there's a lot of hustle and bustle, and a lot of people, chopping and changing. But, once the race settles down and, the grid kind of spreads out a bit, you do get into, just a nice rhythm. And, you pick a pace and you stick to it. And, you're on the radio to the team every lap and just, finding out what's going on around you. And if anything, the sensation of speed slows down. You can just, absorb everything a bit more and just plan it out. You can start thinking about tactics and where you're going from there. I mean, once the race starts out of the way, then the next big thing's the pit stop. And what time you're going to come in, do the driver change, and that's another stage where the race can be won or lost. So it's once one thing's done, you kind of tick it off and move on to the next one. So you're just going through like a checklist, like an accountant or something.
So it's a really fast accountant. Is basically what you're doing. Is very fast, making up the numbers as you go along.
Yeah, and I know a few accountants, so it must be at the top of the list on that one.
So what's been your best place?
Well, the opening round of the year, we won it. We won the first race in GT4, which was the first ever GT4 race in British GT. And the car I'm racing this year is a Ginetta. And it was Ginetta's first race in the UK and at a high level. So I'm proud to say we're the first Ginetta GT4 race winners in the UK and anywhere.
How did that feel then?
Well, I didn't know about it to begin with, because I did the second half of the stint of the first race. So my teammate Joe Osborne got out of the car, I jumped in, had a fantastic pit stop, and my engineer came on the radio, but it was quite crackly. I couldn't really hear what he was saying. I thought he said that we were second, about 10 seconds behind. So I thought, okay, there's racing that long to go, so let's get my head down and just keep this position. I came over the checkered flag and came in the pits, and they gave me like a winner's cap, and I thought, hang on a minute, this can't be right. And my teammate came bounding over to me and said, we won. I was like, no, we haven't won. We came second, you tart. And then it kind of struck home. And it had that kind of like surreal feeling to begin with. And then, once you're on the podium, it just, it was like a sense of accomplishment because, I mean, last year we didn't do that much racing. What we did do last year, I managed to, have a couple of wins and finish on the podium. So it kind of like satisfied a couple of things in my own head about what was going on and whether it was worth it and stuff like that. So it kind of just it got that kind of doubt out of the way and just meant I could just get on with the rest of the weekend and focus on that.
I love that.
It was a relief.
The rest of the weekend.
There was another race today. We wanted to win that one as well.
I'm sorry, that just made it sound like you're going to a festival or something. Yeah, I won a race. Yeah, then I had a banging weekend.
I could drink at a festival. The race the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shame that, isn't it? I mean, thing is, you've already alluded to it about thinking, well, I'm careful because it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's not the cheapest of sports.
It's not.
It's not like darts or something.
No.
So, the thing is, how much money does it take to do a race?
I mean, it depends what you're doing. It depends what kind of level you're racing at. In GTs, you can be spending anything up to, I suppose, 10, 15 grand a weekend. Depending on how you do it. I mean, you can go in right at the bottom end and run a car yourself and break down and go home on a trailer, or you can, sign up with a top team and, pay through the nose for it. But, I mean, the good thing about GT racing is the more established you get and the more wins you get under your belt, that there is an opportunity, to become a professional driver because you're with another driver. I mean, there are people that do get paid by another driver or a team to do it. So initially you've got to pay through the nose, and then hopefully, things will open up. Whereas if you're going down the F1 ladder, you're just constantly shelling money out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do F3 for a season, that's £500,000. If you want to do GP2, you can be paying £1.5 million.
Good grief.
So I'd love to do GP2 by the way, and if there's anyone who wants to pay that money, I'd be glad to take it. But it had to come to a point where we thought, well, this isn't a sustainable way of going racing, so we've got to look down another avenue. And GTs. I mean, they're fast, glamorous cars, and people can associate with Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to be like 19, 20 driving a Ferrari round, it's not bad, is it? It doesn't do the ego any harm.
Yeah, I know. But what do you drive on the road, by the way?
I've got a diesel Golf. Well, I'm proud of it, but it's a bit sporty. It's a GT1. It's got 6 gears.
Come on.
It will do 65 to the gallon down the motorway, so I'm proud of that.
Exactly. Obviously, it's 70 miles per hour.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Strictly on the speed limit.
Very, very much so.
So much so that I've actually limited the car to 70 miles an hour, so it'll never go above that kind of speed.
I congratulate you unreservedly. You're looking at the moment to try and get some sponsorship.
Yeah.
To try and get stuff together.
I mean, we managed to get some stuff sorted out for the start of the year. That's gone a little bit pear-shaped, to be fair. So we're kind of starting from scratch. We're halfway through the year now, so really I'm looking towards next year and building for things. Obviously, doing GTs this year, it'd be nice to carry on with it next year and move up to the next class up, which is GT3. Which are like 200 mile an hour plus supercars, which is pretty cool. Obviously a bit more expensive, as you can imagine, but that's got to be the natural progression. There is other things we're looking at. There's a new series coming out next year called the Pro 400 series, which is a single-seater category, which actually aims to turn drivers into professional drivers by paying them a cut of ticket sales and TV sales and stuff like that. So I mean, that's in its infancy, really, that championship. But that's something we're looking at for next year as a possibility. And it's a way back into single-seaters as well. And, of course, as you've heard, it can be very expensive. Michael's looking for sponsorship. He's looking for people to help his way through the industry that he's found himself in. If you're interested in finding out more about Cheltenham's own Michael Broadhurst, he's 20 and he's driving GT cars, and he's been doing it since he was 16, 17. It's quite astounding, frankly. All you need to do is put Michael Broadhurst into any of the search engines on the internet. It will bring up his website with all details about his career, his aspirations, and the things that he could possibly do in the future. That's Michael Broadhurst, a young racing driver from Cheltenham who's one of these people that we've been featuring this week that you just think, oh, for goodness sake, could you just be slightly less talented, please, and make us feel a bit better?